Hello and good evening to our Wednesday night Stampin' with Sandra Stamp and Craft Studio. Following on from my Facebook Live, I'm going to continue my theme of the week and use the iconic dies once again. So I'm just getting my screen ready here to be able to move across. So let's just move that across there and I will show you what I'm going to be doing tonight. So the iconic dies were the ones we looked at on Sunday. And I'm using completely different pieces today. So the iconic dies actually feature all of these pieces. They stand alone in the Stampin' Up catalogue. They are totally all on their own, no stamp set. There's not really much coverage of them in there either. So I got to hear about this from seeing somebody else demonstrate it and I loved it. So I'm just going to recap quickly on the card that we did on Sunday. So apart from the stamp sentiment that's come from another set, this is all dies. So the whole card is dies, even the stitched background here. So I'm going to be using totally different tonight. I'm going to pop that out of the way. And I'm going to be using the floral features on here. I've done some of the pre-cutting already. There's a little bit of fussy cutting. Hi Shaz, nice to know I'm in the right place, thank you. So I'm going to be using these floral ones here tonight, and I've only got the bee. The birds are the only one I've got left to play with another time. So I'm just going to move some bits and pieces across. So I've got a little mat here just so I can lean on there so I know where I'm aiming for. So the colours I've chosen to use tonight are Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. I'm doing two-tone and I'm going to do a little tiny bit of fussy cutting with them as well. So I'm just going to talk you through where I've got to so far, and this is one of the images and then I'll bring on the others that I've pre-cut already. So many of you have seen me use my silicone mat. Oh, that just froze momentarily. I'm just going to put some of the Tombow on here. Okay, and I'm going to just be attaching this one for starters. So I like to just get an old piece of sponge on my silicone mat and it cleans so easily. Just spritz it with some water. You can pop it under the sink if you like. So how I'm using this is my Tombow is just dabbed over the back there, nice and gently, and I'll lift that off. It is a bit sticky underneath there, and I'm placing this down on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a double layer for this flower. You had to order these dies. Oh, well done. So this die on here I've placed down, it's just got the sticky on the back. It's like using our adhesive sheets. So you could do it with that and put the adhesive sheet on the back if you preferred. To me, this is so easy to use, you know, it's not a problem. So I am just going to do a little bit of fussy cutting on this one. The rest of them I have already prepared. So you aren't going to sit for hours and watch me fussy cut. So I do go around the bulk of it and just get rid of the excess waste. I think my glasses are a little bit, they're a little bit smeary there. These are my craft room ones. I've got my contact lenses in, but these just bring me back to reading glasses. And there we go. So I'm bringing this up to the camera, so if you haven't seen me fussy cut before, I'm holding slightly different tonight because I'm angling it in to just go around the edge of that die. Okay, but again, I'm letting the scissors stay put and I'm moving the piece of card with this hand just to show you how I'm going around the outside of these. Okay, so they're just coming round. I'm not cutting the actual die, I'm just cutting outside of it. But I'm angling those scissors so I'm getting as little as I can waste showing. Okay, I tried doing my usual trick and drawing around the outside of the die. I will show you that. I haven't showed you my sample yet, have I? I'm so sorry. I will show you the sample in a minute. I'm not winging it tonight, I have actually got a sample. I love playing with these on Sunday. So yeah, the drawing around the outside of the dies made an extra layer, so it depends on the look that you're looking for. Hi Jane, lovely to see you. I've not really publicised too much. I've put it as a Facebook event that I'm going live on here. This is my first month of going live, so are we on week 3 or week 4? I think we're week 4 now. So I've been saying I'm going to do it for ages, and the new year was the new start, so I'm doing an additional live, but totally different projects, but trying to keep maybe a theme of the week or a product of the week or some connection in some way. So there we go. So that's all nicely fussy cut out. So the leaves of the other one that I'm doing, let me show you the sample first, sorry. So here's my sample. So I've used the Hive 3D embossing folder. This is a new one in the spring, summer, the January to June catalogue. And that's really, really pretty. I've used that a few times already. I've used the bumblebee, but you'll see here I've used the die 3 different times to get the look of the bee that I wanted. Okay, so this is what the effect that we're achieving here by doing a double layer. And I'm going to do my leaves double layer as well. I've done 2, but I'll just show you the 3rd. So just bringing those colours together, I'm just using a different set of colourway. So I could leave that in, can I leave that in the corner as well? If there's room, yeah, I'll try that. So I'm going to do my leaves next. I have got 2 leaves already prepared. If I pop that one out of the way and pop that one out of the way, we know they're done. And then the leaves, I'm just going to show you quickly one done exactly the same way. So I have the base there to stick it onto. So I'm holding it in my tweezers. You know I'm the tweezer queen. Tapping that over the back there. And just placing that over the top, lining it up exactly on the top there. And it is just dies. So apart from the sentiment, as I said, there's no stamping tonight at all. Okay, so I've got 3 of those. And 3 of the little flowers. So I've got 3 of those to come. And then we're going to play with the bee nest. I'm going to poke those little bits out of there so while I see them. I'm going to get lots of bits of confetti with us with this one, because you get loads of little tiny pieces. And don't they just stick to everything? Okay, take all of that out of the way. Flick that on the floor. That can be hoovered up tomorrow. So let's see how I'm going to attack my bee. I have got, the bee has been cut 3 times. Okay, so this is going to be cut into pieces, and Smudge is saying hello as she normally does. So I'm going to take the wings off here, but I want a little bit of the body because I want something to stick them on with. Okay, so there are my wings. If I stick them on there, you can see them easier. So I'll pop that one away. Now for the black pieces, you can see my sample here. I want to cut off the wings, but everything else will stay intact. So the head, the body, the legs, everything will stay intact. I won't keep those, they will go in the bin. Okay, so this one, the wings want to come off. So, well, first of all, the legs want to come off. And I'm going to take a little bit of his nose off as well. Poor little thing. He's going to get mutilated now, sadly. But I'm leaving the body. But I'm going to take a tiny piece off the end. Did I take it off the end? I can't remember. I'll leave him on for now. So I don't want the antennae. So I'll take that off as well. And it will be a case of try and see as to, oh, I want the wings. Let me cut those off. I'm trying to look at pictures of bees and see how best to actually create this one from the dies that we had. So there's the body. That way round. So this is the bee without the wings. I just want to check that I've got the right shape there. So all I'm doing here is moving this down. Move the camera in. You need to see this a little bit closer. Okie doke. So I'm putting it straight over the top, but I'm actually going to move it very slightly down. So where these holes are, I'm going to be filling it with the black pieces. So in order to do that, I need to just cut a little bit more off the top of the body there. A little bit off here and a little bit around the top. It is fiddly, but I think it's worth the effort. So I'm taking another tiny little piece off there and round his nose. And I'll test it again before I put the wings on. So that's going to sit there and just come back and fill those holes. I think I'm too close now. And my glasses. So there we go. We're nearly there. That little piece I can trim off afterwards. So I think the body basically is there. So I'm going to take my wing and I can just dip that end bit on the mat here with my adhesive on it. So that's going to sit where the other wing was. And you'll have the shape of the body to follow. Stick it on here because it's a bit easier to see white on white. So that's just going to be sitting in there. And I'll hold that with the tweezers for a sec, just to make sure that that adheres properly. Okay, and so I can do another test with this. We want the legs and everything to be seen. Hard to know where to put it for the best for you to see best. So that's going to be where he should be. So I'm moving it down one tiny little bit. So I want to shave off here and just a little bit round the top of his head. So a tiny little bit off the back of his body and then round the head here. Okay, and I think we're just down to the nose then. I did think about trying to do a flat piece of card underneath there, but again, trying to get the right shape was quite hard. So we're nearly there now, I think. So when we get nearly there, we're going to turn this over again onto the mat, and all bar the antennae and the legs if possible. We'll just do that middle bit. And we're going to place this on here. So I'm starting again with the body lined up and then moving it down slightly, one little notch. I hope you can see how that works. Hi Smudge. Yeah, I'm doing great. Oh, so yeah, he's chatting, that's it. So that's my little body. Now I'll put my glasses down again and just take off those extra little bits there. I thought I was near enough, but we're not quite there. And the glue's still slightly damp, so I can take that all off. And there he is. If I bring him up to the camera, you can see my little bee. Okay, it's worth the effort. It's a bit fussy. The other way you can do, if you have a black Sharpie, if there is, like here, there's a tiny little piece. I've lost it now. On his body, just under here, there's a tiny little piece of yellow showing. So if you really wanted, you could just colour over that edge. It's like when you fussy cut an image and you get left with that white edge around the end. If you do see something like that, just use a Sharpie. Okay, so I'm going to turn him over and I'm going to put a couple of the small dimensionals on his back. And pop two of those, one there. This is all solid, it's just variegated yellow and black. So I'm going to put those on there so they're ready. And these little leaves, I've raised them slightly. So I'm turning them over and each of the tips are going to have a dimensional on the top. There we go. And we'll curl those a little bit later. So let's pop them to one side for a moment. I can get rid of my sticky for now. And move that up a bit, and that one, and I'm going to pull over the basics of my card here. Okay, we'll tip you off gently, there we go, then we've got a mat to work on still. So I have some layers in here, so I'm going to start with my liner. So this is the liner piece, and I've just cut just slightly inside of that, and I'm going to adhere I'm using on this sample. The colours I've chosen were Petal Pink for this one and then Calypso Coral. On my other one, I had Pale Papaya, this sample here. Oh, I've zoomed out again, let me come out. On the other sample that I showed you, this was Mango Melody and Pale Papaya. Two more colours that I really love. Couldn't decide. Tried asking hubby. And then decided, well, if I do one sample in one colour and one in another, you get to see it two different colourways. Now, depending on what you want, you can stack one over the other. And they're just a couple of strips. I've just cut different from scraps, different widths, and just trim that from the back. And then the rest of that liner will go inside my card. So I tend to forget to put the liners in when I'm on camera. So I put the pieces in here today so I didn't forget. Okay, so that's in there like that. If you want to, you can cut some more flowers and decorate the inside piece. Now this is my first matte layer, and you can see that I've already gutted these shapes out. So the solid images here and these little tiny ones are the ones I've pre-cut from the matte layer. So it's basically you're gutting the card like scrapbookers do, and it just saves grabbing another piece of scrap card, really. We're all for looking after the environment, and we love our craft materials, but if we can make another layer out of something, hey, it's always good. So here's my pre-embossed layer, as I said earlier, with the 3D Hive embossing folder. This is really, really lovely, and it gives some lovely effects. I love embossing folders for the textures they can give, making a card just start to look like something as soon as you've got a full layer on. So I'm going over all these bumps on here. You have to be a little bit more thorough where you've got the raised pieces and not a flat card. And just space this into the centre and just press on that. I like to turn it over, and I'll just run over that with my bone folder. Okay, and it'll start to look like something quite quickly, I hope. There we go, nice and neat and tidy, nice and clean. It's a lovely, lovely folder. So for my my large piece here, I'm going to put some foam pads on. And if I just have a quick look, it doesn't matter which way round I go, but I just need to leave a little bit of gap here for a leaf. So I'll put 3 round like so. And pull those off. And start wherever you like. I like to have mine off the edges so that it's not precise. Gives it a little bit more of a natural look. And then this one here, I'm going to have part of it overlapping, and these ones here will have foam pads. So I'll pop a couple along the bottom and then take those off, but I'll put some Tombow across here where they're going to latch onto the other one. Bit of a multi-layer feeling to it. So those two have got the layer, so they're going to come about there. Okay, now for some leaves. I like to curl these slightly, and I like to have them raised up, so I kind of give them a bit of an S shape. This is going to go flat on the bottom where the pad is, and then the other end I'm just going to put some Tombow. So once it's like that, in my tweezers, I can just slot that, because the layers are here, I can slot that in as a marker point wherever I'd like to, whatever angle I'd like to put them, and it's raised up here, so it's kind of giving dimension and shape. So do the same with the other two. So just give that a bit of an S bend. Take that one off, Tombow on the bottom, and tweezers. And then the next one I'll put at the top here. I like to do things in 3s, so they kind of like give it some shape and it fills the hole here. So again, I'm going to put that. Hello, Ina. Some new faces. It's lovely to see. So if you're on here for the first time, I have started doing Facebook. I do Facebook Lives regularly on a Sunday night, but I've started doing a different one on a Wednesday night on YouTube here. So if you haven't followed my channel, please hit the like and subscribe, and then you'll get a notification when I go live in future. Just got a bit of fluff on there, so I'm just going to get a brush. It's a little scrapper card in the die. So that's nice and clean. It's taking shape, isn't it? So I'm now going to do the 3 little flowers here that we cut out from the base layer as well. So these are going to go flat, but I like to just stick these in some holes, some little gaps wherever I care to take fancy. So I'll just put some Tombow around here. And I tended to pop this one in a biggest hole, but I wanted it to fill the gap there. Sound like I'm on the underground. Mind the gap. So again, turn this one over in my tweezers, a little bit of circle of Tombow, and I'll pop that one in there. It's just extending the pattern out a little bit. And as there's 3 all on one die, it makes it nice and easy to cut. And I'll put that one in there, didn't I? Just that. Okay, so we have some shape. We haven't got our sentiment yet, and we haven't got our gems. We'll put the gems on at the end. So I'm now going to jump across to, he's going to sit on there ready. The greeting I'm using today is from the Sale-A-Bration. Oh, I've frozen. I'm back. Okay, so the set that I'm using today is from Sale-A-Bration. I know that I have demonstrators come on here as well, but if you haven't got a demonstrator and you want to follow my page or know more information, then please give me a shout if you're watching this on replay. The Sale-A-Bration brochure this is a £90 spend, so normally with every £45, the other ones are all free at £45. There's a couple of sets that are at 90, so the sentiments here, you've got 21 different sentiments in there. And then this is my other favourite, the Friendly Hello. You get all of the papers and the stamp set for a £90 spend. Okay, so I've taken the sentiment from there at the moment because it's all topical and in here. So they're just a little high from me. Okay, it's a really cute little set. So I'm just going to stamp this one on here. I've got my Memento black ink pad. I don't want to lose my B because he took a lot of work, didn't he? So I've tried this one. Normally with a polymer stamp, I would have a mat underneath. I have tried this one before and it doesn't need it. It does good stamping without, so. There we go, cute little greeting. I didn't want anything too big on this card because it kind of does it all itself. So, I don't know what that message is. I think we might have some spam on there. Okay, so I'm just going to take this one down here. I'm trimming it down to very close to where the sentiment is. Okay, it's a really nice stamp set, isn't it? It is a high value spend, but you just think how many sentiments you have in that one set. It is worth having. And it's quite universal, the sayings on there. There's quite a lot of sentiments that are useful. Some of them, sometimes they have sets that you wouldn't really have a use for. So there's my sentiment itself. So I'm going to mount this onto a piece of the black and then I'll trim that down afterwards. In fact, if I just mark with a pencil, just mark on the edge here and put a little pencil mark, I can see that that piece was virtually the right size for me, which is quite handy. So this is the little mini trimmer that Stampin' Up brought out as a recruitment in a Sale-A-Bration a couple of years back. It's a beautiful little trimmer. It just works so well. We love it. Just wish they'd have it available in the annual catalogue so that other people can enjoy it. That's just trimmed it down, and the white was just scraps. I do have a lot of scraps of white. Just trying to get that centered in there, like so. Very simple, but that's all it needs. Okay, just move that slightly over. There we go. So a couple of the larger dimensionals on there. There and there. Might have been a bit too big for those, but hey, they'll be fine. It won't fall off, will it? So then I'm just going to place this kind of where I want it, and I like the L shape here, and I like this greeting to go up the top. It's kind of in there. You need a small trimmer. They are brilliant. If you can find anybody that's got a spare one, or you know, it's just, I do love it. It's a really good one. So because of where I've put my greeting, I'm just wondering where's best to put my B. So I'm going to place that over the top there. Take those off. Stampin' Up don't sell tweezers, but if anybody, I get a lot of compliments on my tweezer capabilities. If you're in the UK, girls, and you want to know where I get mine from, they are always on offer with the company I use. They're normally £4.50, but they're always on a promotion at £3. And they're long handled, and I use these, you'll see, for the tweezer, for the, like a hockey stick, to get my gems off. So having done that, we've got the B on. You know what we could just do? If I take my Wink of Stella, you love the iconic die set. And this is one of the prettiest cards you've seen made with it. Oh, bless you. Were you on earlier? Did you see the one I did on Facebook Live on Sunday? I did this little one. This is one of our note cards. So I use the stitched greenery background, and these are all components from, and one of the little flowers I'm using now, they're all component pieces from the iconic dies. Just remove the lid of my wink of Stella, because I'm just going to put some twinkle on the bee's wings. I know it's slippery surface, so it will take a while to dry, so I'll be careful not to knock it, but I just like the effect of putting some sparkle on there. I just wanted to use this. I missed it totally until I saw somebody else demonstrating with it, and I think they have a good, particularly doing classes by post and not being able to stamp images. It's a good set for people with Big Shot, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, to be able to put pre-die cut for classes when we're doing COVID. So I've actually used two different sorts of gems today. I've used the champagne rhinestones, but I've also used the 2021 to 23 in colour jewels, because I used that on this one because it was the mango. I think I won't use those today. I'll change my thought process and get my other tub just a sec and see what's going to be best in here. The champagne might still be the best option. I'll just go through in these and see what I've got extras. I don't think I've got anything more in the terracotta-y sort of type colours. No, I think it's going to be those ones. It's either those or the clear ones. Take a vote on it. Tell me. Is it going to be the champagne or is it going to be the clear? Which would you like to see me use on this card? These were different colours and I had a better colour match with those. I'll take these out of the packet ready. Take a vote. Champagne or clear? First one to comment. And then we're nearly finished, I think. There might be a delay here or freezing. I'm going to take one of these and just hover over and see what I think of it. Oh, you're saying clear, okay. That one on there, you see, it will take the colour that's underneath there. What do you think now I've held that up? Can you see that one? No, probably not really, can you? That's the champagne. It doesn't really pick up on the screen very well, does it? I'll see how the clear looks. Take one of the bigger ones. Can always lift that off. That's a clear one. I think they are too heavy. I'm going to lift that off. Sorry, girls. Champagne. I think the champagne are going to be better because I find the champagne will actually take the colouring of what you put with them, what's underneath it, what's with it, and that's just dulled it down a little bit. So I do think that that's possibly the best option. Now, the flowers are 3 different sizes, so you've got a large, medium and a small. So I've used the largest, the medium, but I'm actually going to put another medium on this one because the little ones just don't cover those 3 little holes in there. So now we can pop some of these ones. Just randomly pop them around the outside of the card somewhere. Wherever you fancy. We do things in 3s. So I might just stick one somewhere. I'd stuck that one there. I'll stick one. Where shall I go? Where shall I go? I'll just go down the bottom there. There we go. So that's my dies. My iconic dies. So that's the one from yesterday that I did as a sample, and that's the one there that I've done this evening. You love the colour. Was that for the card colour or for the die, the gems? The champagne are my favourite. I use those for nearly, I've taken over using those more than I do the clear ones. So that says a lot, doesn't it? You've got a couple of clears there and champagne. Yeah, they are. I do like them. So thank you ever so much for joining me tonight. These are in the annual catalogue. I will just find those for you. It sounds like just for anybody who's coming on and watching later. These are in the annual catalogue and they're down here on page 163, but there's very little use of them in the catalogue. So page 18 was where they were featured, which is with the calendar set. So we've got the bird and the branch here, and we've got some of the ferns in there, and that was it. So it's easy to see how several of us missed them, but I do love them. So I hope you love them, and one of you's already ordered it. So that's really good. So pleased to hear that. Let me take that off and bring you across to me. You love both. Well done. Okay. Well, it's lovely to have you join me. A little bit quicker tonight. I was aiming that the Wednesday night ones would be a little bit longer. So I've got the other card that we did on Sunday that I've showed you. And then next week, as I've already mentioned, what is the flower dies? They are all from the Iconic. They are all in the Iconic dies. So it's let me bring you back down to the table just a sec. So in the Iconic die packet, that's the number. So for if anybody's watching and wants to order it, that's the number. They are all in the Iconic dies, all of them. But there is no stamp set to go with it. It's a standalone die set, which is very unusual. So we have the bumblebee there. We have the 2 flowers I've used, the little group of 3 flowers, and then the toadstools and the branch and the fern and the leaves again. Leaves I've used on both. The fern we used the other night. So the only one I haven't used at the moment is the bird. So I will make a card with that in the next week or so, and then they've all been used. Okay, but it's all in one set. So it's a really good one to have. So I hope you enjoy that one. And if anybody's watching, like I say, from the UK and wants to contact me, then my details will be updated in the description below. And I will be back here on Wednesday next week. So if there is anything that you want to particularly would like to see demonstrated, drop me a line, find me on social media, and then I can see if I can build it into my plan. Okay, so I'll say cheerio for now. Stay safe, stay well, and see you again next week.